Right, do you want me to keep it off? Oh yeah, okay. Ding, ding, ding. Well, hello everyone, and obviously a very hearty welcome to this very, very exquisitely beautiful exhibition. And I'm speaking. Sorry, my name is Beth O'Halloran, and I was Trióna and Elaine's tutor while they were doing their MFA in NCAD just 2 years ago, even though it feels like 10 years ago. And so it's kind of through that capacity that I've been thinking about this work. And so I have a few things to say, a few little organised things, and then some less organised things that look kind of drop in. But we've been having a few conversations, but maybe the most recent one was just last week on our Zoom, so I'm going to just tap into that a little bit. Let's see. But yeah, first of all, huge congratulations. I don't know if I said that bit. I was also very interested that this was the second manifestation of this show, and not that it's the same work, but that you guys have worked together so recently. And I think when we hear that there's two students who have recently graduated and they're doing a two-person show and doing two of them so closely together, you know that there's obviously a really special working relationship going on between the two of them. And certainly we were aware of this in college, that their work was speaking the same language, and that's what we'll maybe talk a bit about with the choice of the title and what is being touched on in the work itself. So, as we know, the show is called AMBIT, and then full disclosure, I had to look up what that means. And I did know that AMBIT had something to do with ambiguity, but then I just realized what a perfect word choice that was for this work. So, where was I now? So, I love to hear that it's rooted not just in ambiguity, but that it refers to the scope or bounds of something. And I thought, oh, that really is that. And so that an ambit place is like the middle distance that we talk about in painting so much. So it's that place that we need to squint to see. This is my own words, not so when you're looking at that place, it's neither near nor far away. And I just thought, just looking around at this work, we can see all of these horizons, and we can see these really interesting amorphous forms. And we talked quite a bit about that these could be read, are they human? Are they animal? Could they be a bit of machine with the metalwork? And then these things that look like folds of flesh or pockets of flesh, maybe oozing and dripping in this really sensuous way over them. So very intriguing and mysterious pieces. But then similarly, these places that are being depicted, they all seem really familiar, and yet they're not described in detail, in the sense that when I was, sorry, I'm going to go off script now and I'll lose myself, but I was thinking so much about that idea of middle distance, and then I had this story that kept coming back to me, where years ago I got to see an encounter between a Zen master, like proper Yoda, Zen master, and a student. And the student had come to the Zen master very upset about some family problem, and he really caught up in it. And of course the Zen master, being a Zen master, didn't say anything for ages, and was just very quietly letting the person tell him all about the interconnected trouble that they were having. And then the Zen master just sat back very quietly and adjusted his glasses and looked over his glasses, and he said, I would just like to ask you, how might this look from the moon? And then I just thought, that just keeps coming back to me with this work. Like, how might this work look from the moon? As in, it feels to me like we're looking from a height at all of it. And from that height, things that, like an interpersonal problem, just seem to get blurred and softened. So we don't know where we are exactly, and we don't know what exactly these forms are. So in that sense, it universalizes them. So we have then a form that could be an animal, it could be a person. So if we were looking at it from a satellite or a plane, we wouldn't quite know. And in that, it's just like, oh, this is what we're talking about with a borderless place. So just a couple more things to say. So I was just thinking that the places and states of being that the work might be asking us to look at from a distance, maybe not as far as the moon, but just imagine, that we're looking from a satellite or maybe from a plane. And from that distance, we might recognize some of these as roads, as I say, but we wouldn't know, are they in Asia? Are they in North America? Eastern Europe or Western Europe? Are they in Ireland? And by having that ambiguity within them, anyone coming from any one of those places could identify with these paintings. And then similarly with these forms, if we're seeing these shapes, and imagine if we're hovering above them, and we wouldn't know if maybe that person is male or female, is it an animal, is it a domestic animal, is it a wild animal? You've just allowed us all to bring any association we have from our own experience to this work. And whenever we have that, there's just such a collective meeting between us as the viewers of the work and you as the maker. By allowing it to be that open-ended, you've invited all of us into that story. So let's see, I was just thinking, that from that place, if we could imagine that we're again hovering up above there with no borders to protect and no fixed identities to assert, then mightn't that be a bit like freedom? And mightn't this work be inviting us to an expansive place within that unknowingness? So then I'll just finish with one last quote. Again, a thing that came to mind after we had our chat. Would probably most people in the room would remember who Amelia Earhart is, but just in case she's not so familiar, she was an extraordinary woman, a pilot who was trying to circumnavigate the globe in 1937. You know, with my students, I'm always saying, just remember the context. What year was that? What was happening? So 1937, so just with fresh memory of World War I in her mind, and 2 years before World War II starts, she gets into a plane and starts seeing things from a height where, again, there are no borders, no identity of one country and to another. So she wanted to see things from a much broader horizon, and in her words, she was on a quest to find a place of no borders, just horizons, only freedom. And I just want to thank Elaine and Trióna for giving us a piece of just that expansiveness in this beautiful work. And congratulations.
Brilliant, thanks, Beth. Thank you.
Do you want to say
Actually, I have nothing prepared to say except that thank you all for coming. For Elaine and I, this is a big moment for us, and I get to carry the flowers. Thank you, Beth,
so much for all your time and knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Beth. Okay, Beth doesn't want anyone to keep looking at her. Thank you.